So I'm gonna take a guess that it's not pro-bias.
Yeah,
it's
well,
maybe just an examination of bias.
No, it's an exploration more about unconscious bias, so our hidden biases. But we really look into this sort of the scientific background of what is bias and how do we get it. We know it's a survival heuristic, right? But how is that useful in the modern world? And how is it impeding us? So that's what really we're looking into.
The unconscious bias element of it, for those that don't know, is one of the most potent in all of our lives, and unexplored, ergo the name of it. And so what was it that drove you to really want to do that, to explore that idea?
Yeah, my last film was called Debugging the Gender Gap, about the lack of diversity in tech. And a lot of the term unconscious bias kept creeping up sort of in post-screening panels and discussions. And I thought, well, this is fascinating. What is unconscious bias? And could this be sort of at the root of some of the isms that we see in our society that are damaging, whether it's ageism, racism, sexism? So that's really what planted the seed.
And it's remarkable to see that now in the making of this documentary, in the process of it. Did you get involved in any way, and what might you have learned over the course of making the movie before we get into more about how Dell Technologies is related?
Well, so did I get involved at all? Yeah.
Well, no, you were producing and directing already, but did it expand in any way to learn something?
It actually did. I was somewhat reluctant to this idea, but ultimately put myself on camera. I take the implicit association test on camera, and I expose some of my own biases.
Wow.
Which was, obviously putting myself in a vulnerable situation, but who am I as director of this film to be making a film about unconscious bias? I certainly didn't want the audience to feel like I was pointing a finger at them. So I was willing to say, hey, look, I'm human too, and I have biases.
Yeah. Eye-opening, I imagine, a little bit?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was incredibly eye-opening. Some not as much as others, but when I learned that I have a moderate association with women and career, women and family and men and career.
Yeah.
So in other words, I sort of adhere to traditional values of gender roles. That completely shocked me because I'm a womanist and a feminist and
busy working and making a movie.
Yeah.
Not at home. So and I think that's what's potent about that, the unconscious bias versus some of the other heuristics, is that it's within our own self-knowledge is an actual blind spot to what we really, the lizard brain really holds on to in a way. And so it's great that there's a movie about that. As a vision, this uncomfortable territory is just something that's going to be honed in and harvested to actually go into unafraid. Uncomfortable, but not unafraid, but unafraid, which is amazing to that. So before we say goodbye to Robin, when can we see the film? How can everyone see the film?
Well, so right now the film is on the film festival circuit.
Okay.
So biasfilm.com is where anyone can log on and see a trailer for the film and also see where we're going to be screening at which film festivals. Eventually, I hope, as my other film is now on Netflix and Amazon and Google Play and iTunes, so eventually it'll be to broader, but right now we're doing private corporate screenings. So if anybody's interested in that, they can just get us through our website.